I always knew that my grandfather's story was different than other grandfathers. My name is Jamie Aaron, and I'm a 3G, the grandchild of a Holocaust survivor, and my grandfather, Alfred Rode, was a survivor of the Kindertransport and originally from Vienna, Austria. My grandfather always emphasized how incredibly lucky he was. He was born Alfred Rothkirch in Vienna, Austria, in 1928, July 31st. He was the only child of his parents, Olga and Aaron, and he lived within walking distance of his grandmother and his aunts and his uncles and his cousins on both sides in the 2nd District of Vienna, which was the Jewish neighborhood. He lived what he would say was a normal life. He would go to school and he would come home for lunch and he would do his homework and he would go to violin lessons or he would go to English lessons. Similar to that of Nazi Germany, Austria was experiencing a rise in anti-Semitism starting in the 30s. Everything changed overnight in March of 1938 with the Anschluss. Immediately, the Nazi flags were unfurled and the German soldiers were marching in the streets. They were just sort of collecting Jews to clean up the graffiti. He and his family were out walking, and he was 9 years old. He wasn't even 10 yet, and they got his parents, and they said, "Start scrubbing," and a Nazi soldier held him there while my great-grandparents were scrubbing the graffiti off of the street with their neighbors, and he said that the soldier was like a giant and that his heart was pounding, and they knew immediately that they needed to get out. What ultimately happened is they heard about 3 different opportunities. The first opportunity being the pearl transports from Austria to Palestine. The second being London folk wanting Austrian maids and home help. And the third being the Kindertransport for the children, where 10,000 children were evacuated from Austria and Germany into London. Even though they weren't going to be together, that's the path they took. We were very lucky. They went to celebrate Hanukkah as a family, and then they took my grandfather to the train station, and he said goodbye to his parents, and he said goodbye to his grandmother, and he got on the train, and he left. In June 1940, my grandfather left East Anglia to return to London to wait with his mother for when they were told they could leave the United Kingdom for New York. And they got on a boat in a convoy of ships among enemy ships, submarines, and they made it to New York. And he came into the United States and he saw the Statue of Liberty, and he always said that he knew they weren't in Austria anymore, and so it felt safe even if they weren't all together. And my grandfather would go to high school in America. He would go to college and became an engineer. He would serve in the American Air Force. At some point, he arranged for the purchase of the U.S. naval ships Comfort and Mercy, which are the medical mission ships of the United States Navy. And in March of 2020, there's a photo of these ships pulling into New York Harbor, and you can see the Statue of Liberty in the background. And that is the exact view my grandfather had as a young boy pulling into New York Harbor. It was very full circle. He was an incredible man. I'm still learning the ways that his experience impacted me as I experience new things. I can't imagine that another child at 10 years old, 9 or 10 years old, has to see something that he saw at 9 or 10 years old. He truly believed and lived this belief of never again. And when we see it, I hear him, and it hurts. It hurts.